Welcome to the CBIA BizCast. I'm Stevie Ann Liss, Advocacy Outreach Manager. In preparation for our upcoming economic conference on Friday, April 30th, I spoke with KeyBank's commercial banking team leader, Matthew Hummel. He discussed the company's new 2021 hires, their title as a national Paycheck Protection Program lender, and the expansion of its national community benefits plan. KeyBank will be the presenting sponsor at this year's Economic Update. You can still register for this virtual event at CBIA.com.
Do you want to provide us with a brief overview of your role at KeyBank and maybe get into your experience in commercial banking?
So my name is Matt Hummel, and I have been in banking for over 30 years in Connecticut. I was born in Connecticut. I was raised here, and in fact, I've spent my entire banking career in Connecticut. I also happen to be a big UConn Husky fan. So today, these days, I'm leading the commercial banking team for KeyBank in Connecticut and Western Massachusetts. I have a team of 5 bankers. We work to deliver a high-touch financial services experience to a broad range of clients and industries. We do things that are right down the middle, such as lending and treasury, but we also provide ideas and capital market solutions with our investment banking and capital markets platforms. The key difference for us is, our entire banking platform is built to serve middle market clients, companies with 25 million in revenue to, about 2 billion. So, it's something we do extremely well.
That's great, Matt. And we here at CBA are pleased to have KeyBank come aboard as a presenting sponsor of our 2021 Economic Conference on April 30th. So I just wanted to take a second to say thanks again.
No, thank you. First of all, I want to just say how pleased we are to be presenting sponsor of the upcoming economic conference. The CBIA is a valuable organization to our state and a very important voice, representing, the business community. So keep up the good work and anything we can do to help.
Thank you. That's great to hear. So I know it has been a challenging year, to say the least. From your perspective, how are CT businesses recovering, and what is your view of the economic climate?
Boy, that changes daily, doesn't it? With all the news, driving to work and listen to Bloomberg, you don't know which way is up some days. But, I think at a high level, just a few bullets to consider at a national level, and then I'll try to, bring that down to how we're seeing Connecticut and my experiences. But, I don't want to underestimate the value of stability and that stability that's come out of having an election behind us, regardless of which side of the aisle that we're sitting on. I think, the election has been, hard on a lot of people, and, having the election behind us is important. $2 trillion, another, 1.9 trillion in relief, was pushed through in March. PP2 is still out there and going to help. Vaccines, first of all, in Connecticut, I think the state has done a very good job, in my view, on getting a handle on the COVID situation. I think every adult in the state who wants to be vaccinated can now do so. I think this is going to, do well for a lot of the industries. The Fed, we've heard the expression, don't fight the Fed. I think the market went down 30% early last year, and it's come back with a vengeance. And then the Fed has continued to, state that it's going to support, the different types of programs that are needed to keep the economy going. And one of the notes that I had written down was, consumer spending is slow, but a steady recovering. But, this morning coming into work, we got an announcement that retail sales were up 10%, which is extraordinary. So those things are all a backdrop, really, to what's going on in the Connecticut economy. And from a local perspective, the good news is we've seen many of our clients fare very well during the pandemic. And what I mean by well is they haven't blown the cover off the ball, but they absorbed a pretty tough second quarter, but they've come back strong in the second half of last year. Businesses related to consumer products, contractors, technology, building products, infrastructure dependent type businesses, essential services companies, et cetera, have all performed, reasonably well considering what we went through. Obviously our friends in hospitality and aerospace have kind of taken it on the chin, even transportation. But, I think we're seeing, some green shoots for some of these highly impacted businesses. And we're starting to see signs of recovery. Personally, I've been proud of how we've worked with our clients through these times. Our efforts to use things like the PPP loan program the Main Street lending programs to solve problems it's made a difference. And, so as we go forward in the state, companies and consumers, I think, are sitting on a fair amount of cash. So we're bullish as a bank, on kind of where the economy is locally. In terms of what KeyBank is up to, we view Connecticut as a growth market. We did significant hiring last year. We brought in 3 new bankers and 2 new relationship bankers in Massachusetts as well, as long as a treasury partner. So we, as a company, we're looking to Connecticut as a growth engine.
It's great to hear that you guys were able to bring on some new bankers. And also, quick question, in terms of retail sales going up, do you think that's something that we're going to continue to see as people are vaccinated? I feel like personally, stores are more and more populated with people. So do you think that's something we're going to continue to see as more people are going out and kind of maybe increasing shopping as it's getting safer to do so?
Yeah, I think increasing shopping, increasing e-commerce, I think just the overall consumer confidence sentiments are going to continue to drive some positive. And I think people are just they're kind of jonesing to get out, to use a not too business-like term. But I think people are looking forward to getting out, spending. Some of the data we've seen through our merchant platforms and a lot of card activity would tell you that, vacationing and, whether it's rental cars or airline tickets or Airbnb, or if you want to get a rental on the Cape or in Rhode Island, it's very challenging right now. So, I think we're in for a pretty strong summer and a pretty strong second half of the year. So, there are some headwinds. I don't want to sound euphoric. You could have a wraparound on the with the variants of the vaccines. There's a number of things that could knock us a little bit sideways, but net, I think we're headed for a good 6 to 12 months. The reality is nobody knows what's going to happen more than 12 months out.
Yeah, it's certainly great to hear, especially as we progress towards recovery, what are commercial businesses looking for from their banks? Yeah,
I think, let me put it this way. I think that, so what are our customers looking for, and what are our prospects looking for? And when you talk to them, what they want to really focus on doing is getting back to growing. Last year, for most companies, they were able to kind of hold it together. They were able to make some adjustments, whether they use PPP or whether they just size their business to how their top line was going to work through the year. But companies, as we talk to them, are saying we want to get back to growing and we want to become more efficient. So both are priorities for them. And so to do that, what are they looking for from banks? They're looking for ideas. They're looking for advice. They clearly want access to capital, and they need technology solutions. So they're going to get back to M&A. I think there's a lot of that going on. That's not an original idea. I think we've all seen it, but a lot of conversation will be around M&A. I think there's going to be market expansion. Clients want their fair share of the market expansion, and then at the end of the day, through capturing market share from competitors. We see, I know we're at the front end. They're going to need capital. They're going to need intellectual capital. They're going to need ideas, people showing them ideas, and that's what they're going to be looking for from their banks and their lawyers and their accountants.
That's great, and I'm happy to let those listening know who might not know what M&A is. I did some prior research, so mergers and acquisitions, correct, Matt?
You got it. Yeah, thank you, Stevie. That's correct. That's correct. The other area that we're getting a lot of queries on is there's been an acceleration of the adoption for technology, and there's technology spend that's more on the CapEx side, which is equipment, et cetera. And I think one of the things that may hold some of that back is going to be actually access, getting the equipment delivered, getting the people who install some of this equipment. So we've had inquiries. Folks are waiting. We've made commitments, but they can't get the equipment in. And then the other piece of the technology play is how to fight fraud, how to put up walls against things like ransomware. So it's going to be interesting. But the companies are going to be using a fair amount of technology, automation, using digital to create better efficiencies and to accelerate some of their collections.
So, Matt, would you say that technology is certainly changing the way businesses interact with their banks?
I think it's a necessity. There's been a lot of the whole fintech industry. Folks have caught on to. There's money being made, and there's opportunities to drive improvement in the way companies handle their payments, whether they're on the receipts, whether they're on the disbursement side, and so that wave is automation. Treasury management systems are evolving at light speed. Companies that had historically been, reluctant to make the capital investment, we're now seeing them looking to eliminate paper. They're investing in technology, including ERP systems that really open up and can handle multiple inputs and outputs. And this is going to allow companies really to automate their payments and their receipts. And it's going to get humans out of the process. And these products essentially will help eliminate fraud. It improves accuracy, and it effectively takes out costs. One of the concerns that we've historically heard when we're talking about clients about this automation and digital is that I can't get my customers to take electronic payments. I think what is different this time around is that our clients' customers actually, they want to get an electronic payment or make an electronic payment at the very least, they expect you to ask them to do something digital, even if they don't want it. They expect that their partner's going to come to them and asking for that. So to do this, you're going to need a bank that supports not only current but also next generation technology, and you need a bank that has technology partners that evolve as times change. Unfortunately, banks haven't been great at predicting technology. So we've been chasing some of it. And what KeyBank has done is we've partnered with some larger fintech, market leaders, and we remain, I think, nimble and cost effective. Some of the larger institutions may get wed to their legacy investments. So, you need to just be aware of, what the different opportunities are for driving those efficiencies. The last point I'll make on the technology is a need for greater cybersecurity. This is evolving, and if a client is not thinking about how to lock down, their systems or having some sort of redundancy in place, they probably should be. These high profile ransomware cases have hit the press, but smaller companies are getting hit as well. We don't hear about it, for obvious reasons. Nobody wants to, advertise that they had a ransomware attack. But I know because I've spoken with some clients, it has happened, and some have had redundant systems, some have had to pay a ransom, and some have just had to rebuild things. I think it's more prevalent. If you talk with your different accounting firms, it's more prevalent than we might realize, and it's coming down market. It's not just the large corporations.
Is there anything else that you would like to add or touch on?
Yeah, a couple of things I'd like to talk about because it's near and dear to my heart, and it's really important to our culture at KeyBank as well. Despite the challenges of 2020, I've in my 30 plus years of banking, I've never been more proud to be a banker and a member of the banking industry than I have the last year. And I know I share that sentiment not only with my partners at KeyBank, but with other bankers that I've talked to out there. As our state and country continues to battle, the health and economic impact of this pandemic, banks have actually been part of the solution. They've been stepping up in a meaningful way with financial resources, and they support their customers and communities. At KeyBank, this has been particularly true, not only from a customer support and a lending perspective, but from a community perspective as well. We did $1 million in grants across 15 state footprint, just strictly for COVID-19 relief efforts. And these included grants to our Connecticut partners, the United Way, the Hartford Foundation of Public Giving. We gave another $1 million to support racial equality and equity and social justice initiatives. This was with local partners like the Urban League, the NAACP, YWCA, and the NCCJ. So We stepped up our annual community sponsorships and donations to local organizations. They came to us and said, hey, this is Connecticut. This is important to us, whether it's the CBIA, United Way, or Food Share. And we did this for many more across the way. So we've been proud of our role. You may have seen, Stevie, you may have seen some of the recent announcement, but updating 2017, we have something called Key's National Community Benefits Plan. And we delivered more than $18 billion in lending and investments across Key's footprint, and $530 million of that went to Connecticut and Massachusetts alone. And then earlier this month, KeyBank announced the expansion of this program to $40 billion over the next 5 years in community investments. And this is things like affordable houses, economic inclusion, and climate change funding. This expansion means we can do even more in the next 5 years, as we work together with local leaders and organizations across the market. It's really important to us, and, we like to give back and we like to serve. So I'm just very proud of my KeyBank colleagues, who are doing everything they can for our clients and the communities. This is what we're all about.
I would certainly be proud of that as well. You guys have, the work you've done for the community, that is huge. And in addition to all the PPP support and then your announcement regarding the National Community Benefits Plan, that's huge, Matt. You have a whole lot to be proud of.
And there's so many people that stand along with me to get this done. I'm a small part of it to be able to share that with you today. So thank you.
Thank you. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hop on CBIA BizCast. I hope down the line we can maybe do another one of these podcasts. Maybe we'll get a few other banking folks in the industry to come on and speak as well.
For the latest Connecticut business news, events, and resources, visit CBIA.com. Follow us on Twitter at CBIA News and on LinkedIn and Facebook. Contact us anytime, 860-244-1900. Thanks so much for listening.